Hello people, it's Brewski. It's been a little while, but I'm back with another checklist for you. I'll have some announcements a little bit later, but let's get to the list. This is a second time around for Michael Gray. He gave me a Signar list, and now we're moving on to a little bit of Circle. This is the first one I've done on the channel. We'll see how it works. Our list for you today is going to be in the Devourer's Host theme. That is essentially Tharns, guys you can hunt around. We're going to be taking Chromac 2, Champion of the Worm. He's going to be backed up by Getorix, a Pureblood, Warp Wolf, Gallows Grove, Shifting Stones with a Stonekeeper, a max unit of Tharn Blood Trackers, and all of the Huntress, their command attachment. And that is all going to round out to 25 points. So, hypothetically, you could use this in Brawl. I didn't check to make sure there's no illegal models, but I think you're good on this one. So, first thing is the theme itself, the Devourer's Host. Models that gain corpse tokens start the game with 1 on your first turn. So you already have bodies racked up ready to go turn 1. And the other benefit is 1 unit of Tharn Bloodweavers gets ambushed. Now we don't have that here. I basically went with models you had based on what was actually going down with your listing. You listed out models, so this is what you've got going on. Alright, getting into them themselves, you've got Chromac, Champion of the Worm. His feat, Bloodlust, immediately casts Carnage without using any Fury. This means friendly models get +2 to melee attack rolls against enemies in the caster's control range, and living models in the battle group get +2 strength and armor. So you're buffing guys, you're making them stronger, you're making their melee potential way better. That's handy. That sets you up for a really good Alpha Strike or a good turn of Retaliation, one way or the other. Other goodies, he's got Pathfinder, he's got Death Feast, he can spend corpse tokens to remove D3 damage off of himself. He's got Field Marshal, Hyper Aggressive. When a battle group model takes damage from an attack, except when it's advancing, it makes a full advance towards the attacking model. So in other words, you get, if you get shot or hit in melee at long range, you can move towards the attacker, always helps. Heart Eater, when this destroys a living model in melee, it gets a corpse token, it can carry up to 3 of them. It'll start the game with 1, so keep that in mind if you use this in theme properly. You can spend these to make extra attacks, boost melee attack or melee damage, 1 of these per token. So you have this sort of reserve of fury sitting around basically, and it can also heal you additionally to any other rules. His weapon, Wrathrock, is melee. It does magical damage, grievous wounds, loses tough, and can't have damage removed for a round. It's always good. Getting into his spells, he's got Awakened Spirit. Target beast in the battle group can cast its animus once without being forced. Can't double cast it, so you can't spend to cast and then cast again and just do it once, but it doesn't cost anything. It has Carnage, the same rule that he uses. Primal Shock. Sorry, I should re-explain that. Carnage, meaning he doesn't have to use it on his feet. His feet basically just cast that to everyone in the control range, but that would be, it's not limited. Carnage would be to a single target. Primal Shock, friendly faction beast in control range, targets a model within 8 inches and makes a magic attack against it. Vengeful, retaliatory strike, upkeep spell. If a model is hit by a melee attack, after the attack you can make a basic melee attack in retaliation. Essentially, he's a beat stick. He really is just a melee badass. He's got a really good feat, healing ability, and retaliatory spells. The list basically begs for damage, so it can move up faster. Alright, Getorix is his pet war beast. He's got Pathfinder, he's bound to Chromac, and in his control range gets Overtake. When that destroys a model with basic melee, it can advance up to 1 inch. Controlled Warping, choose 1 of the 3 effects. If this guy frenzies, he has to take Warp Strength, so keep that in mind and watch your Fury on them. He can be Murderous, which gives an extra melee attack dice roll against warriors. He can use Snacking, which means when it boxes a living model with melee attacks, it can remove that from play and remove D3 damage off of himself. And he's got Warp Strength, which is +2 strength. He's also got Rapid Healing, removes D3 damage after an attack. He's melee. He's got a bite and he's got an axe. Axe is pretty powerful for a beast at power and strength 18. If he warp strengths, he has 20. That's nothing to sneeze at. Animus is Spiny Growth. Spellcaster gets +2 armor. If a non-warrior model hits this, it gets D3 damage afterwards unless the model is destroyed. Doesn't work against warriors, so this isn't going to be helpful against squads. This is just against beasts and jacks. Yeah, again, he's a beat stick. You can pair him up with Chromac. You can get him stuck into melee. Watch the fun. Just get him into combat and watch the fun. All right, your Pureblood Warp Wolf has Assault, which means it can shoot a ranged weapon and then charge in the same turn. Pathfinder, Controlled Warping, same kind of rule but different abilities. If it frenzies, it has to take Warp Strength, same rules as the other one. The other two abilities it has with the Controlled Warping is Ghostly, can move through terrain and obstacles with no penalty and can't be targeted by free strikes. And Spell Ward, can't be targeted by spells. It can regenerate. It's got a Magical Spray, 10-inch, power 14, not too bad, good if you have to take out squads. And it's got Claws. In melee, it's power strength 15. It could be stronger. It's really not that bad. Animus is Wraithbane. Friendly models' weapons get blessed and damage type magical. Goes right through buff spells and can take out ghostly stuff. So again, very handy. My thoughts with this guy, use the spray to take out larger units in a brawl size game. If your guy has one big unit camped out on an objective, this is a way to get them off it. Ghostly can take advantage of blocked routes to get to the enemy if they're deliberately jamming, or you have something you want to avoid, or you really just want to scare the hell out of them and move through terrain. There's your easy in. And remember, we can cast that for free with Chromac's Awakened Spirit. Okay, getting into the other stuff, we've got Shifting Stones and a Stonekeeper. These are bread and butter for Circle, and I'll be honest, I'm not as experienced with Circle, but it was the first Hordes faction I ever played, and I had fun using these guys. They were kind of helpful. They had neat little tricks. I really needed to get the hang of it a little bit better, but still. Advanced deployment, so you can move them up the field early. Circular vision, never gets hit in the back. It's immobile, so it doesn't actually move. It can't be placed, can't be knocked down. It's auto hit in melee. Has Serenity, which means it can remove a Fury point from a War Beast within 1 inch. Shifting Powers has 3 abilities. It can be a healing field. Models in the unit and within 2 inches of one of the stones can remove D3 damage points separately for each model. Shifting, place each model anywhere within 8 inches in formation. And teleportation. If all 3 stones are in formation, put 1 friendly model within the triangle within 8 inches of its current location. It'll forfeit its movement after that. So you can heal, you can shift the stones, or you can teleport the thing within the formation of stones somewhere else. This is a good way to catapult something into range or into melee, or to move it out of the way if you really need to. Just think how you want to use it in advance. The Stonekeeper, the command attachment, while in formation the unit gets Prowl, which means it's got stealth while concealed. If it's mostly hidden, it can't be targeted further than 5 inches away, so this just keeps them there, keeps them alive. He can cast spells. He's got Rock Hammer, which is an 8-inch range area of effect for 3 inches. Critical hit gets knocked down. Stone Shield. Model gets +4 arm for a round. Makes him a bit tougher. Aside from healing and the Fury management, use these, like I said, to move a beast into someone's face. Between your units, the Warp Wolf, maybe even sending Getorix up there into the stones, you could have one hell of an Alpha Strike if you plan it right and if you place them down. I think your advanced deployment is really going to matter with that unit. Okay, you have a Gallows Grove. Advanced deployment, so again, it moves up where you want it. It's a channeler. Caster can sling spells through it. If you keep Chromac towards the rear or sprint the Warp Wolf forward, maybe buff it through this thing. It's got Entropic Force. Within 5 inches, enemies lose Tough. So if you really want to screw with an opponent, maybe Trollbloods or something with Tough, move it up. Strange Growth moves by growing within 5 inches. Can't ever be moved or knocked down. Just a tree. When it has concealment, it gets stealth. So again, you're immobile, but you're getting some buff. Okay, got a max unit of Thorn Blood Trackers and the command attachment New Owl of the Huntress. They have Pathfinder, Advanced Deployment. Are you sensing a theme? Stealth, ranged magic above 5 inches automatically miss. Prey. Pick a unit or model for the unit. The Blood Trackers get +2 to attack and damage rolls. As soon as they destroy that, they get another. So you can basically call someone out as your prison bitch, and then take them out, and then pick another unit, and so on. New Owl gives them reposition of 3 inches. Hunter's Reckoning, which means the mini-feat can choose new prey. Tactics, quick work. When it destroys a model in melee, it can make a ranged attack. So they basically, if they kill things, they can then shoot things, which is handy. They all have Weapon Master with the javelins, and those are ranged weapons. And Nuala has Weapon Master with that and the Fighting Claw, so she can do the same thing in melee. My thoughts with these guys, use them to pick a fight and take down enemies early. Get the Getorix, Chromac, and the Warp Wolf into the game as fast as possible to back them up. In other words, your unit is kind of sacrificial. Okay, you're going to have these guys up and making a nuisance of themselves as early as you possibly can while your battle group and beasts get in to really seal the deal. I don't really see this as a very scenario-heavy list. I see this as an assassination list. You're going to basically tie down or jam key units with the blood trackers. The beasts are going to do most of the work along with Chromac. It seems a little weird. I wrote this a little bit ago, but using the stones and using the grove. But the way I look at it, you've got a nice buff, debuff kind of capability. Keep in mind you can also teleport opponents' models, as far as I know, using the shifting stone. So if A, they teleport, they're going to be moved out of the way. B, they're living models, they can't move the same turn they teleport. They get that, I forget the name of it, but the dizzy roll. That could be handy if you really want to make something useless for a turn. So, like I said, I think this is the most offensive list I could possibly think of, using the models you mostly have. I think the only thing you need to get here is Nuala, and you have the you have everything on the list basically. Yeah, I could see this being a really nasty offensive list. I just don't think it's ever going to win by scenario. I think it's going to win by assassination. Whether it's the blood trackers getting everything else out of the way, and then you dogpile the caster or warlock, maybe hunt him down 1-to-1 with Chromac. I could see that going a lot of different ways, but you've got the resilience too with your Tharn. The fact they can regenerate, the fact they have corpse tokens, the fact that Getorix and Chromac can eat and regenerate that way. That's tough. You can basically keep them alive. The shifting stones can heal too, so you can use that on the pureblood. You can use that on other units as well. It just keeps them in the game. And you've got Fury management with them too, so you're not going to have to worry too much about frenzying if you don't want to. I could see you turning Getorix and the pureblood into sort of mobile bombs, just buffing them up with the warp strength if they frenzy. In worst case, that would be a good overkill. So again, you have a lot of offensive option with this. I think it's really a blunt force instrument, to be honest with you, but I hope you have fun with it. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.